About anxiety, I feel that, and stress, they're related. See. Imagine if you didn't have a stress for exam, would you study? No one would study. So stress and some amount of anxiety, I think it's needed. Let me explain to you one fundamental thing, that happiness depends upon harmony within. As stress levels and the fear are shooting through the roof, we are in the dire need to find even few minutes of peace each day. To me, a striking message from Lord Krishna, it's so important. He says, in this world of stress, how would you find happiness? The goal of everyone, from insect to animals to human beings, is to arrive at some level of happiness. But how can you enjoy happiness unless there is some peace within and surrounding you? If there is restlessness, I don't think anyone can be happy. It is only in a peaceful environment that we can embrace, we can hug these elements of peace. And peace is not possible, according to Lord Krishna, unless and until you develop a contemplative mind. And he questions Arjuna, how can you arrive at such a contemplative mind unless you have a focused mind? And how can you arrive at a focused mind? How can you regulate your mind? Unless and until you meditate. So my constant urge to all of you is to connect these dots, that unless and until I meditate, I will not be able to regulate my mind. If I cannot regulate my mind, I cannot remain focused. If I cannot remain focused, I cannot become contemplative. And in absence of contemplative mind, forget about peace. And if there is no peace, where will you find happiness in this world? Happiness or contentment through meditation is achievable. We become actually what we practice.
Happiness is not something lurking outside. It always comes from within. Right? Happiness is contentment. Is a product of something that happens within ourselves, you see. Suppose if I don't understand things properly and I interact with my loved ones, I start doubting them. Loved ones are the same, environment is the same, but the fact that I don't understand them creates a problem. So creating happiness is a result of understanding my surrounding, my situation, my people, especially our own family members and the colleagues at office. When we understand what they like, what they don't like, what they're asking for, then task becomes easier. Moreover, this understanding is not the byproduct of something that happens outside. That happens within myself. Happiness is a result of a spiritual attainments from within. And these spiritual attainments can never be outside. It's again a byproduct. That's why we feel it that yes, happiness can come only from inside.
That too is possible because of meditation. Because of meditation, you can remain in a stress-free situation. You can also get rid of anxiety, stress. You can experience true peace in your heart. Anxiety, depression, panic attacks, anger, it's another manifestation. All these things, to me, it is best if we can prevent it from coming first. Stress, anxiety, depression. Like anger, the moment it comes, it's difficult to control. But a good training will teach us how not to get angry. Once you're angry, it's difficult to control. I mean, all of us, without an exception, have gone through these phases of anger. Some people say, okay, कुछ आर्ग्यूमेंट हुआ, I'll give you a real example from my life. घर जाके बोलूँगा बीबी को, right? So you have what time? You have left from your work. आज घर जाके दिखा दूँगा. See? You have dialogue going on. जाके क्या बोलूँगा वैसे. So you are having an inner dialogue. उन्होंने आज ऐसा बोला, वो गलत बात थी, उनको ऐसा बोलना नहीं था, तो आप उस समय टेम्पररी गुस्सा आ गया. बट नाउ यू आर बाइंग टाइम, घर जाके दिखा दूंगा. बट देन ड्यूरिंग दैट 1 hour of going home, you are realizing that she is right. But if this argument was face to face, then it would have resulted in disaster. You would not have the opportunity of analyzing the whole thing. See? So, if the best medicine for anger, especially, is to postpone it as much as you can. Okay. About anxiety, I feel that, and stress, they're related. See? Imagine if you didn't have a stress for exam, would you study? No one would study. So stress and some amount of anxiety, I think it's needed. We become aware of anxiety when it has become too much and you are not able to handle it. So what do we do at that time? Clean yourself. We have this cleaning methodology. Sit for a few minutes and clean yourself, with a suggestion that this complexity which is causing anxiety is going away from my system in the form of smoke or vapor from the backside, and just sit for 10 minutes. That's all. It will go away. If it is still remaining, then you better attend to that anxiety. Why it is there? You worried about your mother. It's an anxiety. Why are you worried about your mother? Maybe something is wrong. Maybe she wanted a medicine and you forgot to buy it, and you kept worried about all night. But you should have bought it. When you remember, you better go. Once we solve the problem that I should have bought and now I'm buying it, so that will not become the reason for my anxiety. So anger and anxiety both have a real solid reason. When someone tells you on your face, you are stupid, right? And she gives you reason. After some time when you analyze, she was right. Then you say, oh, she did a very good thing in my life, that she corrected me, she tried to correct me, see. And often we lose our fuse when we are wrong. Because the other person is right and the ego hurts. When ego hurts, the anger erupts. So some level of generosity has to be brought in. I think it just cannot bring in at that time. It's who you are. So through daily meditative practices, I think it can take many years before we can really become generous, and empathetic, and compassionate. Buying time is the only solution, I think, whenever such disorders are to be. Spirituality puts humanity in a pedestal, brings about godliness in everything in existence. Swabhiman Bharat is not a reflection of yoga or any religion, but Swabhiman Bharat is created by each individual taking pride in their authentic and sincere allegiance to this godly existence. not mere India, but as our clarion call of our ancient culture says, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. May the whole universe resonate with peace, with universe, one voice, one sound of peace. Peace literally oozes out of us, and when so many of us start living in such a manner, all oozing out peaceful vibrations out of contentment, our impact on the planet will shift towards an authentic and responsible behavior that naturally includes the good of all beings, not just human. Dhyan is the only thing that can spread peace. The inner peace we create in our hearts, it translates not only as peace in our words and peace in our thoughts, but it will reflect in our behaviors, in our action. Every fabric of our life will be touched by this contagious, love-filled peace. It is not silence, because silence can be troublesome at times. This heartfulness way of meditation training starts with a guided meditation, guided relaxation first, then we do the meditation, etc. And you can easily learn this. Anyone and everyone can learn this simple way of meditation. It's free for all. The main purpose that you look at this, everybody wants peace these days. In our days, when you were younger, he's talking of 1800 something, During our days, people were craving for salvation the least. And those who were a little bit more advanced, they were looking for liberation. And then he said, what a tragedy of this modern world that people are looking for peace. To him, this peace has become such a tragic word that people have to look for it, because it's our nature. Not just peace is our nature, bliss is our nature. And he said, what a fall the great human beings have today, that we have to hanker after peace. Is it possible for a person lacking in peace to create peace around them? I do not believe so. We may speak of universal peace in lofty terms and work toward, but the fact remains that until one achieves peace at the individual level, one will remain a contributor to non-peace, or the opposite of peace. Society is nothing but an aggregate of individuals, and universal peace is only the aggregate of individual peace. One cannot claim to love the forest while ignoring its trees, nor can we strive for societal peace while ignoring society's individuals. Universal peace will only dawn when each individual becomes peaceful. Do we really grasp the meaning of peace as it exists at the individual level? Commonly, we think of peace as only a lack of violence between individuals, whether at a physical or mental or emotional level. Yet, even when we are totally alone, we often find ourselves restless and lacking in peace. When you are not at peace, is it possible to appreciate anything at all? Your restlessness will prevent it. If your aim in life is spiritual evolution, especially, you will need a baseline of peace in order to pursue that. If your aim in life is to enjoy worldly comforts, that will also require a baseline of peace. However, could one who deeply abides in a state of peace ever descend into vice or commit any evils? He will not feel compelled to do so. Truly, it can be said that peace is the mother of all that is good. By making that peace dynamic, we got to make peace dynamic and expressing it in action. We find that it can radiate and touch all those with whom we interact, thereby benefiting them as well. There is nothing mysterious about this aspect to understand. You have witnessed on many occasions how just one smile can lighten up everyone's mood, and you have witnessed its opposite as well. We must nurture good things and make them viral.
What if spirituality isn't about belief, but about experience? Click on the video to explore a path that leads inward.